Hello, I'm Archie Luxury and welcome to the program. Today I'd like to talk about swapping all my men's pieces for one fuck-off piece. And this question's been thrown into the ring here, and I have got a good person, good loyal fan who's asked this question, and I have often pondered this question, and what would happen if I sold off all my pieces and bought one super outstanding piece. I mean, that's not to say my pieces aren't nice, it's to say what would happen if I got one super fuck off piece. We're talking Patek Calatrava, which I would sell, which let's have a look at, let's do the sums and see how much money we've got. Now I'm going to use the prices, how much I roughly paid for them, as a guide. So let's just assume I will get the same money back. Now that may not be the case. I may not get as much, or I might get slightly more, but for the purpose of this exercise, let's just assume Archie's bought reasonably well, and let's have a look at how the dollars stack up. So we've got the Patek Calatrava, 13,000. We've got the Jaeger-LeCoultre Reverso Grand Date, that gives us 6.5. Well, just say 6. So that's 19. We look at the Royal Oak is another 6, so that gives us 25,000. We put the Breguet in, which was 5 grand, that's 30 grand. Explorer 2, let's say 4 grand for that, 34. Omega Speedmaster Man on the Moon, 2 grand with the bracelet, 36. Cartier, $1,000 we'll say, 37. And the Breitling Super Ocean, let's put that as a grand in case we've inflated any other prices. So $38,000, which, okay, 38 grand. What can we buy for that? Well, I've seen a Jaeger-LeCoultre Reverso gold 18 karat minute repeater, and that was about 25 to 30. So I could get that, or I could, what I'd really want to get is I could certainly go into a Patek World Time in white gold, a Patek World Time. That's a fuck off piece. I could also, I'd probably want to go into an annual calendar. So I'd probably, what can you get an annual calendar for? Well, you could probably get one for about 50k. But you know, this is the real thing. Is it worth doing? Could I sell off all the pieces for one super fuck off piece? So that's about 8 pieces sold to get one super fuck off piece. And I don't know if that would make me more happy. And the danger is, of course, you know, you look at the essence, what is Patek Philippe? And a simple 3-hand automatic Calatrava comes to mind. You think what is a Jaeger-LeCoultre? A steel manual wind on a strap, and I mean, I've got a fuck off piece in the Grand Reverso Date. You look at what is an AP. Well, you look at that and say, well, it's an automatic steel men's watch, which I've got. You look at the Breguet. Okay, what's a fuck off chronograph? Well, the Breguet, I mean, it's pretty. These pieces are pretty good bang per buck, and it's an interesting equation. The other side of the coin is that the actual servicing costs on a annual calendar, anything that complicated, you'd almost have to take it to a specialist. And what's a specialist going to charge to service this thing? Well, I know with the Jaeger-LeCoultre minute repeater Reverso, it was about 4 grand to service it through Jaeger-LeCoultre. And I mean, could you trust it to a specialist, or would you have to take it to to the manufacturer? And this is the thing. These are the problems you have. And at the end of the day, I mean, I don't know. I really do want a complicated Patek. But I've kind of, I had the chance of getting a complicated Audemars Piguet when I got my Royal Oak for not much money more than the price of my standard 14790 ST. I could have got a nice dual time, which is a complication. But I kind of shied away from it because I fell in love with the grey dial, and I found a nice automatic one, and I wanted the purity of the simple version. And that's a question. What would give you more utiles of satisfaction? Is it one super fuck off piece, or is it a collection of nice really nice pieces. And the other dilemma I've got is that you look at the Patek lineup, and with vintage Pateks, with the complicated Pateks, they often didn't actually make the movement themselves. Lemania made a lot of chronographs for Patek, and what is it you're buying? And with the simple three-hand type pieces, they're a lot more pure to form, and a lot more in-house work. The whole thing is done in-house. So that's another part of the equation. But I kind of think it's not a numbers game. I didn't buy all these pieces to have a huge quantity of pieces. I've always said quality over quantity. But I got to be honest, I do like some diversification, and I think I've got an ideal collection. So I'm not really going to go ahead with it. But I tell you this now, my holy grail's moved up a notch. I want a world time or an annual calendar. So I don't know what the answer is. What answer do you think? Should I sell everything and get one super fuck off piece? I mean, then all that happens is you want a few super fuck off pieces, and it's, it gets to a really crazy level there. But I'm quite content with the meager collection I've got there. I think at the end of the day, I do want a Vacheron to add to the collection eventually in white metal. I do want a fuck off Patek complication, either a world time or an annual calendar. And I'm only 40. I don't, as I say, this is a collection that grows over years. So you got to be a bit patient. I'm Archie Luxury. Tell me what you think.